Hi and welcome to ZapQuote. Today's video we're going to be looking specifically at toolbox templates. Now the reason for toolbox templates is so that you can pre-set up your toolboxes, which is where you keep your icons for specific types of projects. So we may set one up for electrical projects outside of London, or electrical projects within London or within a big city, because the prices between the two will be different. Or we can set up a specific toolbox for AV projects or fire projects, something like that. So let's get straight in. And what we're going to do is we're going to make up our toolbox. So what we're going to do, here we go. So let's go new toolbox template. I'm going to call this one Electrical London, so that I know that this would be the toolbox that I use for my electrical projects within London, because the prices are going to be slightly more expensive than projects outside of London. That's that, it is made. So now let's go straight into it. Now what we need to do now is we need to populate our toolbox. So we've got to drag and drop icons below to add them to the toolbox. So there we go. Here's all our icons. We can drag them into that toolbox. We have power, fire, switching, lighting, AV, supply and security. So let's start off with power. So I want to just point you towards a few specific icons in here. So for your attention. So if we have a look at this one here, double switch socket type A. We specifically made type A, type B and type C double switch sockets because within projects we often find that you would use plastic sockets in the back of cupboards, but you would use a more expensive socket probably above a kitchen worktop. Something like that. So the ability to show that on a plan, we've done this to make it easier and easier to price. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop a couple of those in there. There we go. Couple of other icons I'd like to point out to you is we have a specific one for your boiler supply, your photovoltaic isolator. We have your immersion supply. There's your intruder alarm. This is your multi-isolation point. This is for something like inside a kitchen where you're isolating your dishwasher, wine fridge, washing machine, your extractor, fridge freezer, for example, hot tap. So they're all there. There's our outside single socket. There's our double socket. Where's our double socket gone? It is there. There it is. There's our thermostat. So we've got a fair range over there for you to use. Let's have a look at fire. So on fire, within a domestic project, let's just pop a smoke in there. Let's have a look at switching. So on switching, you'll notice we've got a lot of different icons here in switching. I quite often just use a basic light switch just to get me started, so we can indicate where these are on a plan. But once we know how many switch lines or whether they're going to be dimmers or non-dimmers, we have over here very specific boxes that tell us what they are, so we can indicate whether it is a 1-gang dimmer of type A, so that might be a plastic 1-gang dimmer. We might have a 1-gang dimmer type B, and that could be a metal finished dimmer. So if you want to be very specific about exactly what that dimmer or that switch is, you can put it in there. For the moment, I'm just going to use a light switch there. Let's move on to lighting. So these hold all our lighting icons. What I need to point out to you at this point is that we've put the extractor fan, the triple pole isolator switch, things like the doorbell, a ceiling fan. We put all of these, there we go, mirror heat pad. We put these in with lighting. The reason why we've put them in with lighting is because they come off a lighting circuit. So the fan would obviously come off the bathroom switch via the fan isolator switch. What I'd also like to point out to you in here as well is we have some recessed downlights type A, B, C, D, and E and F. That is so that we could have a type A, which could be the IP rated one that we're going to use for bathroom. We could have a type B, which might be a cheap one that we could use in a utility room and a garage or something like that. We have a type C, which might be the more expensive one that we are going to be putting into a lounge or a kitchen or the front hallway or something like that. So other items I just wanted to point out to you here is we have things like there's our wall light, outdoor wall lights. There we go. There's linear lighting. So we've got linear lighting type A, B, and C. The reason why we have A, B, and C on that is because often on projects you may have a trimless linear lighting, you may have low-level linear lighting, you may have pelmet linear lighting, so that we can differentiate between different types of linear lighting on a plan. The other things I'd like to show you is that's our driver location. That's very handy to show where you can hide all your drivers. There is a garden IP box. That might be where you're going to put your drivers within a garden. There's our lamp socket or a 5 amp socket, just to show where you're going to be plugging in lamps. Let's go into AV. There we go. There's all our different AV icons. So here we go. We've got speaker type A, type B. The reason why we did that is because you often have different speaker types on some of these larger projects. There's our BT master socket, double data, quad data, media point is anything you want it to be. So we would often have like a triple Cat 6 and a single TV point. Some people have a twin TV point or a triax module and 2 datas. That is down to your design. So we've called it a media point. There's our satellite dish, aerial, blinds, amplifier, WAP points, sky point. So a good selection there. Our supplies, so we would put in, let's say there's our consumer unit and a car charging point. There's our bonding for gas and water, so we can pop those in there. So let's go to security. These would probably be for different projects, but there's our intruder panel, a bell. We got a flush panic button, contactors. We got PIRs that can go into the project. So now we have populated our toolbox with the icons on the left-hand side. If we go over here to the right, we can have a little look here. There's that little edit, so we can click that edit, and we can go in there and we can edit it. So now that light switch, I can say the price to supply that is £10, and within London, because it's slightly more expensive, we would, let's say, charge £80 as the install of that as a per point price project. We can stipulate what that light switch is going to be at this point. We can say, okay, well, for the purpose of this quote, we are quoting on an MK logic, and that then makes it very clear as to what that price is for. That is, when we come to do the project, it will be an installation price of £80, and the price to supply an MK logic fitting is going to be £10. Now let's update that. Now that process was relatively slow. So what we came up with over here is we brought in edit mode. Edit mode now makes things a lot more quick. So now we can put in our information here a lot quicker. So we can put 5 tab across to there. We can add 80 tab across to there. MK logic. There we go. Tab down to there. Let's have a look. Now this one's going to be slightly more expensive. This is an expensive socket. Let's put that in as 30, 80, let's make that a Forbes and Lomax, and that can be invisible. Invisible. So there we go. So we can very quickly populate what all of these are going to be for a project, all the way through, as simple as that. And then we click here to go back out, and there's all our current toolbox templates. So this is the one that we've just made up. I hope this video has been helpful. If you watch our next video on projects, you can see us using this toolbox template in our next video. If you require any further help, you can contact us on hello at ZapQuote.net. Apologies for that. hello@ZapQuote.net.